Um, oh, my recording didn't convert last time. That's all right. Anyway, we are live on YouTube now with Bruce Rawles, Lynn Johnson, and we are reading a book by Ken Wapnick. You can
Mhm.
uh, Bruce can tell us of what it is while I get it up and going on the boat.
Okay, we've been reading for a few months now, A Symphony of Love, selections of Dr. Kenneth Wapnick's writings, autobiographies, poetry, short stories, and articles, edited by Gloria Wapnick. And it's published by the Foundation for A Course in Miracles at facim.org. And
Thank you,
we're
Bruce.
on page 104 in the version I've got in front of me, which probably isn't too far off from what you've got. Let me take a look and see here. You're at
103.
103. Yeah, so I think we're tracking pretty close in our digital versions.
Well, and actually, we're going to be there because for the way that this went out with the uh, um, text, it's the poem's on the other page, but the title's on this page. So
Okay.
let me see. I'm just going to make the text a little bit smaller. Smaller or larger? Which should I do? You see if how that works. Oh, now I'm getting pictures that I took years ago.
No.
I hate that. There it is. Now we got the title at the top of the page. So, and very good. And
That's where I've got us.
all right, very good. All right.
Should I pick up where we left off?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's actually got 104 on the page number too.
What do you know? How cool is that?
Just keep it there. All
Okay.
right. All
So
right.
we're almost a quarter of the way through the book, 23%, according to your metric. Um, so the first poem of the morning is Henani, Here I Am, in parentheses. And that's spelled Henani. I have no idea. That might be Hebrew.
I
I'm
think
not
it's
sure.
Hey Nani.
Henani, okay. Uh, and is that Hebrew? Do you know?
It's Hebrew for here
Okay.
I am.
Okay. Okay. That would
Yeah.
make sense. Yeah, because Ken was fluent in Hebrew, but as he's been talking about in his history. So anyway, his poem begins, Henani, Lord, at last, this word I offer you, a word that bursts from the lips of love that had in fear been still. How long, O Lord, has it been so? But you alone would know that this has stayed beneath my heart in fear and secrecy. Henani, Lord, my God, I have not lost its sound. Long, lonely years of bitter fear had not yet stilled the hope that you would hear and answer me, that I may join with you in heaven's plan with all God's sons, salvation's work to do. Hinani, Lord, for I have come to do your will on earth. Now I recall your words to me, to which I answered, yes. Hinani, Lord, Hinani, Lord. Oh, yes, of course I will. For could I live without that yes when it means God to me?
Oh,
There's the question we're asking ourselves all the time, every second of every day, huh?
absolutely.
Which teacher do I choose? The other
Yep.
day, I was re-listening to a conversation that I was putting up on my YouTube channel, and someone asked about the connection to the decision maker and the story of which wolf will you feed? You probably heard that before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But that's it. I mean, which thought system are we feeding? Which one are we nurturing? And that's the one that will be our identity. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Hanani, that is uh, the in the Old Testament when I believe when God called to Moses.
Oh, okay.
And Moses said, "Hey, Nani, here I am. Here am I." And or I think it's several places in the Old Testament where God called to people and they answered, "Here I am," or "Here am I." Hey, Nani. So that's a big deal in the Jewish tradition, um, to use that term to say that word. Let me see if I can get a. Let me. Oh, it's got to download the dictionary. Oh, I had to get a different Kindle app, and now it's it's not cooperating. Oh, and it says there's no definition for that.
Oh, actually, I looked it up on online,
Oh,
and it says Hanani is a Hebrew word meaning here I am, commonly used in the Bible 17 times to signal total availability, readiness to serve, and deep attention, often in response to a divine call. It implies a total surrender to God's will, often used in moments of testing or sacred duty. Abraham, Moses, Isaiah, for example. So anyway, yeah, and I think Ken's background in both the Hebrew tradition and Judaism, and then Christianity, having basically started out very briefly, as we learned, as a monk, even though he didn't spend much time there when he realized the course was his real calling. Um, he basically is in an excellent position, having studied a lot about different religions, but mostly the non-dual traditions from what we've been reading, what I've heard him talk about. And then his wonderful book, the Love Does Not Condemn, uh, The World, the Flesh, and the Devil According to Platonism, Christianity, Gnosticism, and A Course in Miracles. That's a very definitive and scholarly work that Ken wrote. And I'm reflecting on how in a number of different audios that I've listened to, and as well as the things I've read and heard and watched of his media, um, Ken basically emphasizes over and over again how the very foundations of not just Christianity, but almost every religion, with few exceptions, um, is essentially a dualistic, um, cult of personality, if you will, as he puts it, and the courses diverges in a significant way from that being a purely non-dualistic teaching, even though it uses dualistic language, because that's pretty much all we have. So it meets us where we're at. In one of the audios I was listening to the other day, he was saying that in addition to some wonderful, um, but it wasn't a put down. It was just saying that you're going to get different results with those different foundations. And one of the audios I was listening to the other day, he was saying how in addition to places where um, the truth comes through in the figure that we call Jesus's teachings, such as the parable of the prodigal son, and several places that uh, showcase the idea that even though a lot of it was censored, modified, distorted, omitted, uh, who knows what might have been added over the 2 millennia it's been around, give or take. One of the stellar ideas that really um, redeems what is true in that tradition is that Jesus was a symbol of forgiveness. And even though the idea of forgiveness has been largely used, as the course points out, particularly in the one of the supplements, as forgiveness to destroy, just the idea of forgiveness being associated with Jesus is a really helpful thing that I think has inspired a lot of the Christian mystics and probably countless other people to dive deeper into the real forgiveness because of that symbolism and that connection. So anyway, just a quick aside there.
yeah. It's all so interesting, because yeah, we basically have the same background. That Abraham, the children of Abraham who went out and founded, of course, the Jewish religion, Christianity, and Islam are all from the same thing. So,
Hmm.
uh, it- so, uh, um, and then you think, well, that's the whole world, right? No, no.
No, hardly, hardly. But it covers a good percentage of the world's religious
Yeah.
affiliation, but it certainly is not an exclusive. And that's that word exclusive, I think, is a tip off to a dualistic teaching. And as Ken and Gloria, both in the audios I've listened to multiple times over the years, point out that um, many places in the Old and New Testaments, it's pretty obvious that on a superficial level, they seem to be, um, you know, speaking of unity, and yet the dualistic foundation, from which you really can't get there from here to back to unity, is the problematic nature of any dualistic tradition. So
Yeah, and it's just it really is it kind of cracks me up now when I think about it because the whole idea of well Abraham was the one who said there is only one God because of course before that there were polytheistic they had all kinds of gods,
right,
everybody had their own god, there were gods, all kinds of gods, and Abraham was the one who said there is only one God. You would think that's a tradition then that would be non-dual.
right. And when we were in Egypt in the fall of '92, I remember going through the Cairo Museum and various Ptolemaic temples up and down the Nile, and we learned about on our tour about Akhenaten, and he in Egyptian times basically uh, shifted from a polytheistic uh, system to a monotheistic system, and yet dualism creeps in so many ways that in every culture that it's kind of hard to avoid because we made the world, according to the course's mythology, if you will, in order to keep ourselves separate, which is intrinsically dualistic. Keep ourselves separate from not only from our creator but from each other, and to make separate, special, different things that had their uniqueness and their individuality were enshrined and put on the pedestal of of praise and reverence and awe, and that's what's at the heart of the problem, is our wanting to be special and different and unique and separate from our real identity. And so if you've seen it, see it in that light, then, it's not something to feel bad about. It's just like, well, this is a silly maladaptive solution to an unassisted problem, as Ken says. It's just
Right.
a thought system that's not going to get us the peace that we really want. It'll achieve the things that we're attracted to from the ego identification, which is the attraction of fear, the attraction of guilt and sin and pain and death. Um, but it obviously those things aren't going to make us happy
No,
if we think
no.
about it anyway.
I seem to
Yeah.
recall having read a book about that. What was that? The Journey Home, the
Yeah. Yeah.
Opportunities,
Yeah. Exactly.
in some great depth of, how
Yep.
it is that we're doing that. And I got the other day as I was for the umpteenth time. I don't even know how, I can't even tell you how many times I've read this course because, well, it's not like straight through, but
Right. Right.
every bit.
Yep.
But I really got the other day what, it really the a huge focus of the course is not on we are one and non-duality and everything. It's on here's how the ego works and this is what it's doing. Pay attention to these things. This is
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
being tricked. If this is
Exactly.
how, yeah,
Exactly.
this is how it sees things. If you're
Yep.
seeing things like this, that's what the problem is. It really is just a real outing of the ego, a big expose of, what the ego's up to. And you know, do we use it like that and look at it and say, "Oh, okay, oh, I best be be aware of wanting to feel special. I need to recognize when I'm making something else special." The whole, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo.
And the specialness is really the seed of warfare. I mean, it it germinates in forms that we've learned to accept and even adore. And yet, um, when we really look at the motivation for wanting to be different, it's the root of all of our
Yeah.
unhappiness.
Yes, yeah. How about that separation? What an idea. So
The core of the insanity is wanting to be a different thing. And if you think about it, well, why would I want to be apart from what is my real identity unless I had this masochistic, self-loathing identity that was really trying to not be at peace and and reveling in war. So, I mean, it's a challenging curriculum because, the course asks us to look at that on every specific thing that we engage ourselves in.
everything.
The whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
Yep.
So this beautiful poem by Ken that we just read, he's talking about I get this now. He says on this second paragraph, uh Lord, Hineni, Lord my God, I have not lost its sound.
Mhm.
This is something that in the Jewish tradition they said all the time.
Okay.
It was something that he's heard many, many, many times. The whole idea of just surrendering myself to my God, to my source, to my reality, and just saying to God, "Here I am. Use me, take me, do with me what you will. I'm here only to be truly helpful." But whatever it is, he says, I get it now. I get it now what you're saying here, why it is that I have to just open up and say, here I am. It doesn't have to be uh, beneath my heart, held in fear and secrecy. It is something that can just burst out. I can just burst out and say, here I am, God, and not be afraid that I'm going to be overtaken, that I'm going to be lost, that I'm going to be no longer the separate person, individual that I think I am. That fear is the thing that keeps us caught up in the world. The ego just tells us, you're not going to exist. How many times have I heard, and you have heard, that I'm afraid that I'm going to no longer exist. If I
Mhm.
give in to this, I will no longer exist.
Not as a
And
separate identity.
yeah, yeah,
Has nothing to
yeah,
do with bodies existing or not existing. So we don't have to worry about going poof. We go peace first
right.
before the last stages, very last stages, say, well, I think I can give up this whole space-time thing altogether. But we can still operate within the dream as dream figures. But if we're not identified with those dream figures, then that changes the whole thing, doesn't it?
It changes everything. And of course, Jesus, that's how he explains his life on earth, quote unquote, was that he recognized that he was not that being that he thought he was, that he
Hmm.
was the Christ, and that everyone around him was the Christ. And from that recognition, he didn't go poof. He stayed around and walked around and talked to people and fed people and did all sorts of things, raised the dead, healed the sick, all that kind of stuff. He didn't do that by going, "Oh, you're sick, I'm going to heal you." He just said, "Heal yourself. Get up, walk." Lazarus in the tomb, he didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to bring Lazarus back to life." No, he said, "Lazarus, come forth." He wasn't calling to a dead man to arise from the dead, because we are all dead men. And,
Yeah,
and he's just calling us to come forth. That's really all that's happening.
yeah, yeah.
So
And that dead man, as I was thinking, I was just making a little note here about how could the nothingness of ego's creation be worthy, yet it must be looked at to see that its alleged something is really nothing. and therefore forgivable. So the dead man is really a dead nothing, and a dead
Yeah,
nothing can be giggled at, right? It's like the emperor's new clothes. It's like, well, there's really nothing there, but we are only going to see that if we look through Holy Spirit's vision instead of ego's so-called sight, to see that the neutrality of what ego made in truth, which is really nothing, has been inflated into something. And the something is a big deal because it now takes on attributes of specialness, and its substitution then seems almost viable. Well, I say almost because there's a part of our mind that knows that it can never work. So, anyway, but we keep trying to make it work until we finally realize, wait a minute, this is a hoax. This is a ruse. This is a silly game that children play, as the course puts it, right?
exactly. It's a silly game that children play.
Yeah.
And how many times does he tell us that too? So yeah, so we stop playing the silly game and we say, Lord, here I am. I'll do whatever. I'm here.
Yep. Yep.
I am here.
And we realize, even if we're not there yet, we realize that our way out of hell is to trust and Holy Spirit, of course, or whatever, adjective name we give it, that quality of an ego-free presence in our mind that Ken says often. Any you know description of that will work. It doesn't matter what we label it. It's really the content of the mind that says, what if the separation didn't happen? What if we're really all the same? We all share the same interest of going home from a dream that seems to make us different and separate and
Yeah,
horribly,
yeah.
hopelessly lost in a space-time sci-fi flick of outrageous proportions.
Uh, and the key to that is just keep going. We're,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just keep going. You'll get to the end sooner or later and say, like the Truman Show, you went
Yep. Yeah.
across the
Great
water,
movie. Great movie. Yeah.
got to the end,
The door
the
in the sky, right above the fake ocean. Yeah.
end.
When his
Oh,
boat hit the end of the world, didn't fall off. He just climbed up this previously almost invisible staircase and walked through the door in the sky to go home.
go home and yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Great,
Although,
great movie. He
yeah,
he
great
he got
movie.
he got tip-offs though, before he realized that something was amiss. There was a giant floodlight that fell down and right in front of him and crashed right in front of him
Yeah,
from the sound stage that he thought was the world, and he realized, well, wait a minute, how could that happen?
that was hilarious. All of it. When you
Yep.
go back and watch it, I first watched it. When I was in Illinois, I had just moved out there for a job, so my family wasn't there, and so it was Saturday, and I thought I'll go to the movie and watch this, and I did. Went by myself, obviously, because no one else was there. But the secretary from the office was there in the theater too. There were like five people, and we watched the Truman Show, and I'm when I came out of that, I was like stunned. I was like. What just happened? Oh my gosh. But it was just a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant awakening. So many awakenings came to me at that time. That's when the Matrix movie came out. I saw it on the campus before it actually went into theaters. And I just went home just like stumbling drunk from the idea. Wow. Yeah. Um, yeah, yeah, those hints were coming to me. The
Mhm.
floodlights were falling
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
from the
I had
sky.
I had a similar reaction to watching the word movie Inception the first time when I was in the theater in Southern Oregon, and I walked out of the theater and I realized, because just a slight spoiler alert, there's multiple levels of dreaming in the movie Inception, and when I walked out of the theater, I realized, wait a minute, I'm 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 actually I've actually made, perhaps, I wasn't sure, but I've backed down from multiple levels of dreaming to just a single level of dreaming, that I'm a human having just been in a theater watching a movie called Inception.
It's pretty trippy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank God for the movies and
Mhm.
all the floodlights that drop in front of us.
Yep.
It's like, yeah. So, all right. Well, let's go on to our next
Okay.
poem, The Pathway Home. I'll read this. Tell me your will that I may find myself. For in your words of guidance and of help, you show me the path that leads to God. The words of love you ask me now to give, you ask that I receive as well for me. For thus it is that all of us return to where our Father wishes us to be. So that's a nice short
Yeah.
and who is he talking to?
Well, it'd be us asking Holy Spirit for help, wouldn't it? I mean, that's
I, yeah,
there's a lot of places where the Course uses poetic license and uses God in place of Holy Spirit, but the intent is basically to restore our minds to the oneness. And I think we can give Jesus poetic license. It's the
yeah,
whole book is a poetic piece. Like Ken says, we should really be reading it like an epic poem that allows us to touch our heart and lead us out of just the pure intellectual understanding. But if we get the understanding intellectually, then we'll still feel the cognitive dissonance, and that'll eventually be the motivation to practice what the Course is saying, as well as begin to understand it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the main um, topics of the course is this idea of giving and receiving as one thing. So
Hmm.
when he says, the words of love you ask me now to give, you ask that I receive as well for me. And I think that is for me a very important lesson
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm all about the giving.
And it's flowing
And
through us. And if we try to give from our little s self, it's always artificial and phony. And we realize it isn't really making us happy. But if we give from our real identity that's beyond the the Bruces and the Lyns and all the little private separate selves that we think we have pulled off making, then there's something of real value because it's really coming from the place where we're all one to the place where we're all one, and that's where the will is received and given fully and truly, and that's when we're peaceful. That's when we're accepting, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the pathway home.
Hmm.
So do you want to read the starfish?
Sure. And before I do, I have a slight biological nerdy comment there.
Ooh,
And when I first moved to Yachats, oh my gosh, almost a decade ago, on the Oregon coast, uh, there's a lot of folks there who are like retired college professors and some worldly learned folks and when I was beachcombing at low tide one time and saw a bunch of starfish, I was quickly corrected that the proper term for them is sea stars because A, they're not really fishes in terms of the usual categorization of fishes, and there's a uh, apparently a new name for them, which is sea stars. But having now ruined the poem, I'll go ahead and read it
sea star. Yes,
anyway.
okay.
Yeah, anyway, the starfish. Christ comes to us as we would come to him, a broken bit of life that washed ashore in seeming pain and darkened throes of death, a dying starfish on the sandy floor. And yet his light shines forth from every tip. His love for us denies what eyes would see when blinded by illusion's fearful grasp. In chains, forgiveness tenderly sets free. Your gentle hand bent down to bless and heal two broken tips which are rejoined as one. Where once stood death, now stands a risen life. The work forgiveness came to do is done. The starfish blesses you in gratitude for your great gift of love replacing sin. The starfish in you joins in blessing you, for what was two is joined in God again. I think that may be in iambic pentameter. Sure sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, sound like it. I can get, speaking of tangents, like correcting biological terms. So sometimes, ever since I learned that a lot of the course was written in biome pentameter, sometimes the rhythm will catch me, and then I'll read through a whole paragraph or sometimes even a whole section of the text or the workbook or whatever, and I realize I have paid no attention to what it was actually saying. I was counting the meter and doing
That's pretty funny.
pronouncing the rhythm so that I could double check to see if I was iambic pentameter. So it's like, yeah, okay, great, thanks, Shakespeare, but but I really probably should be focusing on what it's saying and not the meter. Yeah, although it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and isn't that kind of how the ego has a way of just deflecting?
Form and content, once again, yeah, yeah. Nothing so blinding as perception of iambic pentameter or any other form, right?
Right. And well, and of course, how many people use that to blind them from the course? I don't like the way it's written. I don't like the sound of it. I don't like the
Exactly.
iambic pentameter. I don't
Right.
get over it. Get over it.
So can you imagine a little writing utensil on your desk? I'm looking at one right now with the cap off, and uh, and it's talking to another object called tameter, and it says, "I am Bic Pen Tameter."
Oh my gosh,
How's that for a bad pun to
that's pretty
start the
good
morning?
actually. Iambic pentameter. Wow. Yeah, I like that.
I haven't found a good pun for the tameter part, but the Bic Pen kind of stood out for me when I first heard that term.
It'll come up.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a writing utensil, so it kind of fits the written word, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So anyway, I guess Ken is um why he's bringing the starfish in here. Um, Christ comes to us as we would come to him, a broken bit of life that washed ashore. Really?
Well, the broken bit, of course, is our
Yeah,
identification with a separate self, right?
yeah. And
And
that
the
we're
washing
there.
ashore is eventually, everyone is so disgruntled and disappointed in the ego's outcome of sin, guilt, fear, death, duality, destruction, even though it can masquerade as in some lovely forms at times. It's like, well, it's like eventually it's like, well, that's not making me happy. I
It's
want
not
to
making
actually
me
be happy.
happy.
I don't want the simulated, I don't want artificial Naugahyde. I want the real thing,
The
I
real
want,
Nagas.
yeah,
It's
but no
it's
Nagas were harmed in the making of this.
it's so funny because when the whole time I'm reading about a starfish, I cannot get out of my mind, of course, the Patrick, the starfish from SpongeBob SquarePants. And so every time I see the word
I
starfish,
know of that cartoon, but I have not watched enough of it to have
I think
the
about
connection to
Patrick.
it.
Oh
Okay.
my God. If you ever watch SpongeBob, you will, they are the most innocent cr creatures. They're just so incredibly naive and innocent and it's just adorable. But yeah, Patrick, he is a case, that's for sure.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, that's where I see the light coming through is, watching this um uh gentle hand bent down to bless and heal two broken tips which are rejoined as one. Yeah, starfish, echinoderm, they can regrow,
Regenerate limbs. Yep.
regenerate their arms if they're
Yep.
broken. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
The
And of
work
course, any
pretty.
fivefold geometry has the golden ratio in it and all that kind of fun stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. It is a beautiful thing. Of course, Patrick, his head is one of his arms, like because yeah, that's
right,
the
right.
yeah.
Yeah, and we know how Star Trek, or not Star Trek, Starfish. I was thinking of Patrick in, in one of these Star Trek series. Yeah, but different Patrick. Yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh,
anyway,
let's
but
get over this. All right.
yeah, let's. We probably should move on. Yeah.
All right. I'll read this next one. Come sit by me. My dearest child, come sit by me. in comfort with our Father be. To rest here is a symbol for my gratitude forevermore. Your life has been a time well spent for all the ones whom I have sent to you to love as I've loved you and be for them what I'm to you. Your life, its crowning jewel, has won for all the lovely things you've done. To sit you now at my behest, in gentle peace, join me and rest. So this is like, Jesus talking to us
Yeah.
and saying, come sit over here by me.
Yep.
And
Our Father, our Creator is the same one for everyone. That's
yeah,
the origin of our identity that we've never left,
where Jesus in the
except
Bible
in a
says,
dream. Yeah. What was that?
what is in the Bible, Jesus says, suffer the little children and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven. And basically, he's saying, the little children wanted to come to him, and everybody was like, no, you kids get out of here. And Jesus was like, no, let them come on over here because they are the essence of what the kingdom of heaven
Yeah.
is the child
Right.
that
Not the
is
form, but
the
the
innocent.
symbol of the innocence, yes,
Yes.
which is well, not it's not even the symbol, but the essence, really. The
Yeah.
symbol is the form, right? Yep.
Yeah. So to rest here is a symbol for my gratitude forevermore.
Hmm.
Come sit with me and be my friend.
So hang out with perfect oneness in gentle peace and join me and rest.
Yep.
Yep.
I love it.
And then the forgiveness is, of course, the way we get there. Yep.
Right. So you want to read trust?
Sure. An altar is a holy place of trust where brothers come to join with me in prayer, where two or three are gathered in God's name, as in his hands we place our lives in faith. A lily white with trust's sweet kiss we bring, so that all bitter thoughts we held before, of sickness, pain, and bloody sacrifice, are gently taken up unto our God. My brothers, come and worship here with me. What trust will give, forgiveness gives as well. There is no loss, but only treasured gained, for heaven's crown of love and gratitude. I think I emphasized the the every other beat in the iambic pentameter again, a little
You
more than
did. You were.
necessary. I know once it kicks in, it's like, oh no, I'm seeing it everywhere. It's kind of like buying a car and you realize, oh gosh, there's all that brand and make and models on the road everywhere, right? But
Yep.
yeah, but yeah. Anyway, but and the altar course being the decision-making part of our mind that's constantly choosing between the two thought systems, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And so all we have to do is give up the idea of sacrifice. The altar always brings about the thought about sacrifice. And so the an altar being a holy place of trust, um, where brothers come to join in prayer, that is a true altar where two or three are gathered in God's name. Um, so uh, we don't have to have an altar that we sacrifice on.
yeah. It's well, but the Holy Spirit's use of the altar is to sacrifice the idea of sacrifice. So
Yes,
it's undoing um, the insanity. It's the not know curriculum of negating the negation of truth
negating the negation of truth. Exactly. So yeah, so
or denying the denial of truth. Yeah.
deny the denial of truth,
Yep.
which is the only worthy form of denial.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yep. So yeah. Anything else on this one?
Uh, gosh. Well, all the bitter thoughts we held before, that would be every ego bit of propaganda that we took in and worked with and thought it was valid until we realized, yeah, that's a bitter pill to swallow, and yet the bitterness is washed clean by every forgiving thought we have ever had. Huh?
Yeah, and that does remind me of the where Jesus says to us in the course, I have, kept all of your loving thoughts, everything that ever came from love, and the only thing that doesn't remain is the sin, the sickness, the upset, the fear, all of that bad stuff is gone, and the only thing that remains is the good, the love. So yeah, drop it like it's hot. Uh, let's see. Here, I'll read this one, The Light of the World.
Okay.
You are a light to me, a light that came in darkness and remained to light my life. That light that lights the world so eyes can see what fear had clothed in dark despair and death. My Lord, you shine away my sins and all the empty dreams that never would come true. Each one you take in gentle hands and change illusion's hope to certainty that can be only God's and therefore truly mine. You light, my Lord, your light, my Lord, shines not for me alone, nor for some special part of our dark world. You came for every brother wandering in deepest night, uncertain of the dawn. Not one will you withhold from your embrace. Love's circle that will grow in streams of light, and each of us extends this light of truth as we receive it from your holy hands, which God Himself has blessed with His great love.
Wow. Such wonderful
So,
metaphors, huh?
yeah,
And
just gorgeous.
yeah.
And we think about who are these brothers who are wandering in deepest night? I mean, look
Tag,
around. Yeah,
tag. We're all it.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Look at the world. Look at those that we worship. Look at those that we revile. Look at the people that we claim responsible for, all the everything bad and good, everything that's happened. Uh, we treat them all differently
Yep.
based
Then,
on our opinion of what they're doing.
oh yeah. I was giggling for just a moment, Lynn, when you said revile. I was thinking, yeah, it's not enough that we vile people once. We do it over and over again. We revile them. Yeah.
Revile them.
You're vile. No, you're vile again. You're still being vile. And the Holy Spirit's correction is, nope, you're still projecting.
There you
And
go.
you're projecting something that's not even real, so you can actually forgive it. What a concept.
What a concept. And when you can do that and just take look at everything and everyone that you blame for the ills of the world, and or everyone that you cherish because they're heroes in your eyes. It's all the same. They're all playing a part. It's all the same thing. And when the curtain rises or the curtain lowers or whatever, they all come out and take a bow together. There's not a good guy and a bad guy.
Exactly.
And that's I mean, if we can, if I could actually see that without, and why not? Why not work on that? People would say, and people have actually told me, hey, you can't forgive these people that are doing this thing. You look at these files and see all this terrible stuff people did. You can't forgive any of that. Well, you can if you recognize that none of it happened. It's not really true. And, not saying that it didn't happen in the world, because, the dream is full of all kinds of nastiness. The dream dreamed up, Hitler. The
Hmm.
dream dreamed up all these things. Of course, it's all in the dream, but the reality of it is none of it ever happened. And that is the one and only justification for forgiveness.
Yeah, yeah. But that's all it's necessary. I mean, that covers every base, every situation, every example we can throw at it. And that's what infuriates every ego because it's like, well, okay, I don't have any ground to stand on.
Yeah.
But we're not asked to dismantle the ego all at once. We're just asked to just notice in every little annoying or horribly upsetting thought that crosses our mind that that's my choice. That's my wanting to be special, different, and have my own little special set of problems, which really are undone by the same solution, which is, of course, called forgiveness, but you can call it by many names. And you know, one problem, one solution, like workbook lessons 79 and 80 suggest. You know, let me
Yeah.
see look at the problems that can be solved and let me see that my problems have been solved. It's just one thing that is a decision in the mind to choose Holy Spirit instead of ego, choose that ego-free presence instead of the malicious, sadistic, masochistic terrorist the tyrannical fiend that is has never lets up, trying to make us miserable because it's fighting for its very survival, knowing that it's being uh, chosen against at least now and then, and that freaks it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And the only thing that we can do is choose for love and then forgive everything and everyone, everything we thought they ever did. I love this line. He says, "You came for every brother wandering in deepest night,
Mm-hmm.
uncertain of the dawn." Every brother. There are no exceptions, not one. So the circle of atonement is a total circle that can't be broken.
Yeah. And it's an infinite circle with an
Yeah.
infinite radius, diameter, and circumference if you're a geometry fan. So it includes everyone, and it's covers every dimension. It's a sphere in 3 dimensions. It's a hypersphere in 4 dimensions, and whatever else you can throw at it. Yeah.
Whatever else, or
Mm-hmm.
uh, as much pie as you can have.
We all get the same pie.
We all get the same
Everyone
pie.
gets the whole pie, not a slice. That's non-duality. This, yeah. We still are feasting on microscopic crumbs, you know, like little little tiny creatures that crawl through the carpet, almost invisible, feeding on the stale crumbs from an enormous banquet that's infinite. And we wonder, how could there be more than just these little crumbs that we get occasionally?
Yeah. Yeah. How could there? Where did this, what table did this fall from?
Yeah, and we don't even know there's a table because we're
I
down
mean, there's a
crawling
table.
in the fibers, you know, and near the padding of the carpet. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
cleaning up a little cat barf this morning, so it's a
Yeah.
fresh metaphor in mind.
Those cats. Oh, I also wanted to thank you for mentioning about the baby food.
Oh,
Because
really?
our cat that has chronic kidney failure, we after you told me about that, we went and bought baby food, just plain
Yeah,
chicken. It doesn't have,
right,
and because all the everything that's flavoring and stuff you don't really need,
right.
babies don't need it. And he is actually gaining weight.
Oh,
He's
good.
gained
Oh, good.
like, 6 ounces,
Well,
which is, I mean,
our little female cat's been doing well on it for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it's been, something like that.
that
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah. I mean, she
So.
doesn't always eat the whole thing, but she eats enough to complement the dry food she eats, and that seems to work. So,
I love it. So
yeah.
thank you for that.
Oh, sure,
Sandy
sure. Yeah.
Sandy wanted me to tell you that so that you would know.
Okay.
It was
Well, good. Oh, good.
a good suggestion or good idea. So
Well, just full disclosure, I'm not a veterinarian, nor do I play one in the dream of Bruce, but I'm happy to pass along what the vets in, I can't remember if it was Eugene or Corvallis suggested, if that is helpful for those with
well,
internal organ issues in the feline department.
maybe I should start eating baby food.
I actually tried some once just to see what our poor cat was eating. I figured, well, if it's meant for humans, I can't hurt to try a spoonful. It was pretty mediocre, but it was edible. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I haven't tried the dry stuff though. No, that was I'm not willing to try that, but that
Yeah, no, there's no reason to eat the cat food
no.
if that's what you're talking about. No, 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 no.
Anyway, we
Anyway,
should probably go on.
we should go on. Let's go
Yeah,
on.
let's
You
go
want to
on. Let's
read
go.
forgiveness?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
It's a good topic. Yeah. And he begins, forgiveness is the shining of a star, a miracle of love that comes from faith that knows what never was could never be. And so what always was alone remains. Wow, that's a beautiful description. Just right there, just the first stanza. Thank you, Ken. Forgiveness lights a path across the sky to trail Christ's single message as it goes, removing any trace of sin's dark cloud so that the light of heaven can shine through. Christ asks but that we bless him with a star, the gift forgiveness gives to God's one Son, that all his dreams of sin and guilt be gone, with nothing left except God's perfect one. Then let us give to Christ his little gift, who gives us all his love and glad return. Forgiveness teaches us we have not changed from all the loveliness we see in him. There's nothing more to say once this is done, for words will fade away before Christ's face. The light that comes from God's forgiven Son, in which we all unite in him as one. Wow, that's really nice.
That
I
is
mean,
really
they're
nice.
all really nice. That one particularly
Yeah.
hit me. Yeah, yeah.
Well, and it's interesting to me that, he's really got the idea that forgiveness is seeing the Christ in everyone. Of course, this was after he had already seen the course, but there's so much emphasis in the course on seeing the face of Christ. And that's what actually brings about our remembering the truth of who we are. Um, and you can only do that through forgiveness, which teaches us that we have not changed from all the loveliness that we see in Him. When I see it in Him, I see it in me. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how it all works. I mean, everything that's real beauty, we're really seeing in ourselves, and everything that's the fake ugly, that is the ego, that is our classroom for forgiveness, isn't it? That it's not really outside, it's always inside. And no ego wants to hear that, but that's how we heal, is being
Yeah.
willing to look at the craziness with Holy Spirit at, at the helm and see, just like um, Ken says in that third line of the first stanza there, it knows what never was could never be. If the ego is a made up thought system, then there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to shirk from. But we can watch how the ego, gets nervous and jockeys for position to try to, run or hide or evade whatever, um, however it can, to avoid looking at the fact that we made it up. And I momentarily thinking about, the old fight or flight psychology of animals that are threatened, and the human animal is no different when it's in ego mode. We're either fighting, even though we might seem to have allies as egos. We're either fighting or flighting,
Flighting or
fleeing,
fight.
fleeing.
That's
And then
it.
and if
That's
we're
it.
fleeing, we're probably down in the carpet fibers with the other bugs
Yeah,
eating
with
the
the other
crumbs.
flea.
With the other fleas. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, it's interesting to me, and our time is almost up, and I just
Oh
was
my gosh, I
thinking
I totally lost track of the time. I
that
could actually go a little over today because there's no School for Course in Miracles class
oh,
this morning.
good.
Yeah.
All right. So the face of Christ. Glorian and I are doing a deep dive into the clarification of terms.
Oh, great.
And we are on the section that is called Forgiveness, the Face of Christ. So I think
Perfect.
that's really funny that that
There we
poem was
go.
forgiveness, and this next poem is the face of Christ.
Yep.
So let's just take a minute and read that. I know
Yeah.
our next group is lining up. So
Okay.
but I'll read this one and then we'll
Call
start
it a
again
wrap.
next week.
Okay.
All right. So the face of Christ, emblazoned as gold is the word of God in every son's clear mind, for him to see and recognize when clouds have made him blind. This altar stands clear as memorial to what the Son forgot, a witness to his Father's love that could forsake him not. We come now before it and not alone, for then his love we'd lose. The face of Christ stands next to us and asks us but to choose. This beautiful face of the Father Son is here for us to see. It waits for us through all of time and brings eternity.
Nice.
Wow. And
Yeah, Ken talks about Helen's poetry, but I think he's modest enough to to not tout his own, but to me every bit as beautiful as Helen's poetry in the Gifts of God. Yeah,
Absolutely. It just
yeah,
amazes
yeah.
me because earlier when we were reading his that first autobiography one, it was pretty much, him he was basically saying, or maybe no, maybe it was when I was reading, I was listening to one of his recordings maybe where he was talking about him urging Helen to write the poems,
Right, right.
and then he wrote her poems, and he was like, these are just really simplistic and not really very good,
Yeah,
and
I think he was a
like,
little self-deprecating in that regard, but
yeah,
maybe not too much. Yeah,
yeah,
but
well, and I think, pretty much he was a great poet.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but poetry anyway. I
And
wanted
to
to
me, it's
see.
it's the inspiration behind it that shines through.
That's right.
It's never the words. It's not the sum of the parts. It's more than the sum of the parts, and that's why I love. It took me a while to get to warm up to Ken's metaphor of 2 + 2 = 5, but the whole being greater than the sum of the parts to me says that very beautifully, and the entirety of Ken's message, having studied him now for fairly intently for over a decade, and being familiar with his work for about four of those. um, it's amazing, that the wholeness of his message really reflects the wholeness of the course's message so beautifully, and I'm really enjoying reading these poems with you, Glenn. So
Yeah, me too. Thank
yeah,
you so much, Bruce.
yeah, yeah,
And I appreciate you and appreciate the time I get to spend with you.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. We've been doing this for about a decade almost, I think,
it's been a while.
and I enjoyed it all. So look forward to
Uh,
the next week, and you can, as always, find what I've been doing on acimblog.com, as well as the YouTube channel that is connected with that, and try to put something up there every month from mostly the School for A Course in Miracles, but oftentimes other conversations and fun stuff. So anyway,
very, very
thank you
fun
so
stuff.
much. We should do one sometime.
Yeah, yeah, we should.
I mean,
We
just
do
not
this
not
all the time.
outside of this this Saturday morning ritual. Just you and I talk about our
Yeah,
experience with
maybe
the
we could
course.
interview each other.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Let's do it.
That's hilarious.
Why
All
not?
right, very good. Thank you so much.